You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done for professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Monday. Yes, it is. 9th day of April, 2018. So glad you've joined us today. Welcome to the show. This is the show, the really big show. There's no show like this show. A show about all things E-mini and cryptocurrency. So, hope you had a great weekend. A quick moment here as we start today's broadcast. Most of you partners in particular know Michael has been under the weather a bit, and he's going for some tests. I don't want to speak anything into existence, so I think this deserves our attention and our prayer. Also, one of our partners and a friend of the show for a very long time, Ken. He sent a very touching message to me this morning that I want to share with you. I wanted to let you know that a truly wonderful, loving, caring Christian and mother, mine, not mine but Ken's, went to be with our Lord and my dad last night. She was 92, and everyone who knew her loved her. We were blessed, and now she is certainly blessed for eternity. Father, we thank you, God, for all of your blessings in our life, for your mercy, for your grace, all the things we take for granted, Lord. Every day you heal us of leprosy, and we just run off. We don't even take the time to stop and say thanks. It's not a new problem, God. It's a human problem. You made us, so no one knows us better than you. We thank you for it all. The fact that Ken's mom lived to be 92, that she had a personal relationship with you. She now spends eternity with you, with her husband from this earth, and someday with her son Ken, whoever the other family and friends are. One big family, God, the family of God, and you are our Father. And Lord, as we celebrate her life, 90, I have a grandmother who's 94, I think now, 93, 94. And I don't know anyone, she has a second grade education, I don't know anyone wiser. God, you gave her something supernatural, something special, and she shared it with every person she's met every day of her life. So Lord, I pray that you continue to bless her. And now Michael, God, as he goes for these tests, whoever, from the receptionist to the technician to whoever, God, I just pray that you would anoint their hands, spark their minds and their imagination, God. We need your healing touch, Lord, that whatever the problem is, that the bill of health would come back, that it's going to be okay. So, God, we just once again thank you for all your blessings in our life, for all your mercy and for all your grace. We thank you for Ken's mom. We thank you for Michael. And I'm just so thankful for every blessing that I have in my life, not the least of which is my wife of 35 years. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, guys, we don't normally start the week off with a prayer, but we often end it with one, but there you go. And I'm going to put you on hold for just 1 second. I'll be right back. Well, I invite you to a radio show and put you on hold. You know, I've had people do that. They'll call me up. Hey, I need to talk to you. Oh, okay. Oh, hang on a second. Like 15 minutes later, I'm sitting on hold. So what's wrong with this picture? All right, I'll try not to do that any more than I have to. But it's a big day. It's a busy day. It's a big week. It's a busy week. Got a lot going on. If you're in the inner circle, you probably know. And if you're not, you'll soon find out. And just great things happening on, isn't it amazing how sometimes life will be so quiet and you're like, oh, yawn, and then when it rains, it pours. And rain's not a bad thing. Let's face it, we need it. Now, it can be a bad thing when there's a little too much, but you know where I'm going with this. I live in the desert, Phoenix, Arizona, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park, and you know what? Love me some rain. Yes, I do. So, when it rains, it pours. Bring it on. Now, Michael is at the doctor as we speak, so he won't pop in today to give us that recap of what happened in the live training room. If one of the partners or someone who was in the live training room today wants to type into the chat box what took place, if you took any trades, how you ended up, I'll share that. But of course, Michael, when he's back tomorrow, unless they put it in the hospital, tomorrow he will recap what happened today as well as what happens tomorrow. Okay? All right. Let us do this. I did ask John if he could pop in a little bit early, and since Michael wouldn't be here, let us do this. Let us run through the numbers real quick from around the globe, and that'll kind of set the stage and put things in perspective for us. Now, these are the cash markets, not the futures. We will get to the futures momentarily. Currently in the U.S., the Dow is up 357 points, 1.5%. NASDAQ up 152 points, a little over 2%. S&P 500 up 41 points. That's 1.5%. And the Russell 2000 is up almost 17 points, which is a little over 1%. Big green day in the US of A. In the commodity basket, boy, crude's on a tear, up $1.33. That's over 2%. Trading 63.39 last. Gold up 30 cents, trading 1336.40 last. Let's take a peek at the Asian markets. Now, so far, everything we've laid our eyes on has been green. What will Asia bring to the table today? Nikkei at the close up 110 points, over 0.5%. Shanghai up 8 points. And at the close, Hang Seng up 384 points. It's 1.25%. Is this a global thing? Why, yes it is. The European markets today, the FTSE added 11 points. Actually, 11.11 points. 11.11. And I know I've told you there's a thing about people who are always seeing 111. They say the universe is trying to speak to you. A clock, on a clock that happened, I talked about this not too long ago. Your clock says 11:11 twice a day. Your digital clock, 1111, right? So here's my take on it, is that once your subconscious knows that there's this thing about 1111, it will literally make you look at a clock at that time. Now, sometimes you feel like you don't know what time it is, or you get out of sync, or you wake up groggy. But for the most part, you pretty much know what time it is, or at least most people do. I'm sure some people, I don't know, don't have that gene. But there's even a sort of like a meditative technique that I went over this a couple weeks ago. I'm not going to go through the whole thing again, but it's a simple little process. And if you apply it a couple of days, work with it, you'll reach a point where at any given time, if somebody says, what time is it, you won't reach for your watch, you won't reach for your phone. You'll just tell them what time it is. And you'll usually be accurate within a minute or two. I mean, it's usually right on the nose. Now, again, this is being mindful. This is something that you set out to do, all right? I mean, it happens, it's natural. You set your alarm clock. Does your alarm clock wake you up? Or do you wake up like 5 seconds before it goes off? Now, if I'm really tired or I was up really late, yeah, the alarm might wake me up. But on a normal, average, busy day, and I get my certain hours of sleep, I will open my eyes, and I'm like, oh man, the alarm's getting ready to go off. I don't even have to look. I just reach over and hit the button. When it says snooze, right? But at that point, that ship's sailed, man. Might as well get up. There is nothing worse. There's nothing more draining, than laying in bed, tossing and turning, flipping and flopping, trying to make yourself go back to sleep. Get up. Go make the world a better place, or at least go make a cup of coffee for your spouse. See, you just made the world a better place. Okay, we're on a roll. Let's see if John's here yet. So when I ask him to come early, I hate to leave him waiting. Okay, looking. There he is. Hey, John, welcome to the show. John, are you there? Okay, John's connected, but he can't hear me at the moment, so I will leave his mic open, and we'll take a look at this chart I have up, the S&P 500 Emini Futures. Now, if you can't see this chart, go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone, follow the instructions, and within 30 seconds, you'll be registered all the way through the end of the month. Now that means you'll have one-click access to the show each and every day. Access to the charts, to the chat box, to whoever is on the show. We have special guests coming tomorrow, the special guest that was coming last week. The more I look at this and the more I think about this, this is a very interesting investment opportunity. Now, do keep in mind that it's not something that I'm not bringing it to you. One of our partners, he is a retirement planner. That's his company, his business. It's what he does for a living. This is just a new product. It's not new, but it's new for him. And so we'll be hearing all about that tomorrow. But right now, here's Johnny. Hey, John, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Good. Thanks very much. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir, I hear you. Maybe if there's any way to bring your volume up just a tiny bit, or just a tiny bit.
This issue with that for some reason.
No, you sound good, and you're fine. We can. This is good. How was your weekend?
Well, not too bad. There was a couple of good things happened. The Manchester United beat Manchester City, which is kind of a big deal because Manchester City has been walking away with the Premier League, and Manchester United sort of came back after a kind of a not too good start, has got up to second place, and is. I'm not sure if they can still win it. If City lost every game from now on, could potentially still win it, I think. But it was quite a big deal because for the last few years, City has been it's the best team on the planet just about because it's owned by somebody in the Middle East, and they have unlimited buying power for players. They spent $400 or $500 million on players, a staggering amount of money, and they're a good team. And they just got beaten twice. Liverpool beat them a week ago in a totally shock defeat, 3-0. I mean, they've been winning game after game after game, 20 or 30 games in a row almost, and they suddenly ran into trouble. And sometimes these teams that are on top, and then they stumble, and it's very hard to get back to the top again. Yeah. Chelsea was the last sort of invincible team, and they've been a disaster recently. They couldn't even win against West Ham the other day on Sunday.
What kind of money do those players make compared to American football players?
They make about they make more. I think they make about $500,000. I think Wayne Rooney was getting about $250,000 a week or a game, I think, and now it's sort of up to about, some people are getting $400,000 or $500,000 a game. Ronaldo and this new guy Alexis Sanchez, who's joined Manchester United. I think they paid about $178 million for him, some staggering number for him, maybe even pounds. I think they may have paid $250 million for him. So it's it's incredible the way football has become so expensive. The other thing is there's a very the MLS, which has sort of stumbled because the US unbelievably didn't make it to the World Cup. More just bad luck more than anything. They just lost one game that was a critical game, and they didn't make the cut. And so the MLS sort of suffered for a while, but it's coming back pretty strong now. And they've got this Swedish player called Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who's joined LA Galaxy. And I remember David Beckham 10 years ago was a great, kind of helped to put MLS on the map, played some brilliant games for LA Galaxy, and they won a couple of trophies. And this guy, LA, they just formed Los Angeles Football Club this season. It's the first season, and this is a pretty incredible team. They put together a really great team, been winning quite a few matches, and they were 2-up against Galaxy, and thanks to this Zlatan came back to win it 3-2 in a really exciting game. If you want to Google it, it's really one of the spectacular game of goals, almost 5 spectacular goals in that game. And I just was Googling around with some things on Friday.
Tell me what did you Google? What would be a good search term?
To LA Galaxy versus LAFC or LA Football Club.
Galaxy versus. Did you say LA?
LAFC. LAFC.
LAFC. Okay, that's what that brings me back. I went on Craigslist. I think I may already tell you this, and I mean, there's so many computers for sale in Phoenix on the Craigslist that you can hit refresh on the page like every 5 minutes, and there'll be 2 or 3 more that people have uploaded pictures of that they want to sell. When I use the search term I9, I got 2 results, and one of them wasn't even a real. It was something else triggered the I9. I don't know, but so literally in a city the size of Phoenix, with all those computers for sale. And then I went online and we talked about the price. I can get right now. The guy has a beautiful custom built for me. I need to make a couple changes to it, but
with what chip? With what chip?
Well, it's with an i7. But
okay.
I'm gonna out the door everything. Dream Machine, solid state drive. I'm gonna be at like $600.
That's amazing.
And it's not that I'm cheap. It's not that I'm cheap, but just the thought of $900 for a chip. I don't know.
How much memory are you going to get with that machine?
I'm going to get 16 gigs of RAM.
Yeah, you kind of you need a lot of memory.
It will hold more.
I'd go for 20. I'd go for 24 or even 36, or 24 or more.
There used to be an old saying that people used to say that. I've had computer guys. Now this was a long, long time ago. They said all these people that put all that RAM in their computers, it's stupid. Your Windows operating system can only recognize 8 gigs. But that's back when we were running Windows XP. And I think I've asked computer guys since then, and they go, "Oh no, it can see the extra RAM." Yeah.
Yeah.
But it used to.
A couple of things. Listen, I actually put a 4-tweet screed out a short while ago, kind of giving a summary of what we did since Friday, because remember that trade that Mike Reed was dangling in front of you. That would have been a bad idea, as it turned out.
Which one was it? Remind me.
Expecting it to go down to 2450, the S&P. Remember when I came on Friday?
Well, 24. We're still. I mean, I don't know about his particular.
Well, if you're going to put it on, it might be a good idea to put it on now, but rather than Friday, because we actually got kind of lucky on Friday, and I got somebody called me right when the VIXs were right at the high, and asked me if they wanted to buy more, and I said no, sell it here, and he was kind of dumbfounded, and it was about 53 at the time, I think, and at the same moment I was getting a buy on the market right when we were down about 750 on the Dow, and then we had this rally. We cut a couple of $250 off the losses, and then I made the comment that I thought they'd bring it up on Sunday, and if you think about it, it was kind of logical, because last Sunday was the night that we sold off dramatically and came in way lower on Monday morning. So what we've really done is we've reversed what happened last week this morning, and the phenomenal rally we had, which I believe just ended. We just put actually our last sell was 66.15, and everything else on the Nasdaq and across the board. So we pretty much got the highs of this rally, and right now we're short. However, it's such a strong market, and we'll see how much it gives us first before we cover and reverse. But we could still go out strong. But I think when Trump talked about, with the potential military strike ahead on Syria, the market might find its way down, and may even get spooked in the next 24 hours. And the metals, the other thing we said, remember we talked about the platinum on Friday basing out?
Yes, we did.
Check it out. It's up $20 right now, and it made a turn early Friday. We actually nailed the bottom of platinum and palladium, and palladium is up $38. Absolutely spectacular up move, and it's just starting to lift the metals, and it's just starting to lift the metals.
Mm-hmm.
And the silver has been acting really well today, the platinum, everything else except the gold, and now the gold is off and running, and I think we're going to have a pretty big up day in the metals right now, just starting. So, and look, a couple of the gold, I don't understand why the gold stocks got knocked down this morning, but they did. Anyway, we were not deterred. We came in and bought right at the lows, and sold the dusts at the highs. We've done that a few times. Now the metals are accelerating higher, and the nugget and JNUG is positive. Nugget looks like it's going to go positive. Newmont, I didn't know this, but it had a kind of a accident this morning in Nigeria. There were 6 people lost their lives at the mine. So the Newmont got knocked down more than normal. However, it's turning, and sometimes these things have a momentary effect on the stock. The technical structure on the gold stocks is not very good, but it's getting better. And if we really do turn around today, it will be very, very significant. And here we are. Look at that. We just jumped $2 on the gold while I've been speaking. Listen, I think it's going to be a very big up day. Remember I said I'm looking for a spike, an upward spike in gold.
Yep.
I think this is the beginning of it right here. And look, the one thing, sometimes it's frustrating because when you see these things ahead of time and the markets are not going as quick as you want, you kind of start, second guessing. But fundamentally, this unemployment report, as I was saying on Friday, is a huge new fundamental wind behind gold's back, if you like, and perhaps that's just starting to kick in right now. But look, as I said on Friday, I'd rather have low unemployment and a higher gold price, and we may still get both, because I think this thing might be an anomaly. But nevertheless, the fact that the jobs number came in as low as it did is friendly to gold. And it may enhance this move that's coming right now. The higher we go, potentially, the stronger we're going to get on the gold. And the whole sector now is starting to look very good. This USLV is turning. We've been actually holding a position in this for a while, waiting for it to turn. The silver is very kind of been stuck in this range for a long time, for several months now, and it's breaking out on the upside. Finally, it's looking very, very good. And the fact that the dusts are breaking down, the dust are, I've said this before, the dusts are doomed. Now, the lower they go, the stronger the whole gold sector is going to get. And look at Royal Gold. This is sort of like the final test. How do you say, down spike today? The Royal Gold sort of breaks out from here. It could just rocket out of here now. If you look at say a 60-minute chart or a 15-minute chart, you kind of get the picture on it.
Let me bring one up. Now, which one were you saying that you could see it on?
RGLD.
RGLD, and what time frame?
Probably put a 15-minute. Actually, it's a better idea, or 30-minute maybe. 30-minute.
All right, RGLD, Royal Gold. Okay, so they also trade. Do they trade on the Mexican exchange as well, Royal Gold?
I don't think so. No.
Green, white, and red flag.
RGLD.
I'll show you. No, I'll show you what I was just questioning the flag. It's kind of a silly thing to question, I guess. But anyway, hang on. I'll show you. When I bring up the ticker, this Royal Gold, what flag is that?
That's Mexican. Yeah, BMV. That's okay.
Okay, so it trades under a different. So I've got the NASDAQ. I mean, I've got the right one.
Okay.
I just
yeah.
was questioning. Yeah, you want 30 minutes? Let's do that.
I mean, just look at the daily structure. Look at the way it's kind of
I'll go back to the daily.
Ready to break out.
Yeah. Here's 1 day, right there.
Okay. Well, there's your daily, and look at this. I mean, it hasn't given much ground up. This been kind of basing out for a whole year, and now it's.
So this goes back right here to, let's see. This is December 17, right here. Is that right? This is December 17. So, okay. Now you want me to tighten it up with an intraday, like 30-minute?
Hold on.
Oh, now 30-minute, it's really basing out. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you can see that looks. So and look at the test this morning. That test, that was a.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They really tried to take it down. They couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You see,
yeah.
For the benefit of the audience, one of my favorite type of trades is when the thing everybody was expecting fails. Right? Rather than I'm not saying I won't trade with the crowd, because sometimes that's the simplest thing. If a bunch of people are pushing the market higher, I mean, jump on, catch a ride. But when it doesn't hold, or it doesn't work, or whatever happens, it's unexpected, and everything's falling apart. I love those. I love to seize those opportunities, because everybody's sitting there dumbfounded or mad because they're on the wrong side of the street, and man, you can really seize the day with some of those. In fact, in the live training room every day, you guys see Michael use one of our indicators, the dynamic support and resistance, which is calculated momentarily as the market moves in real time. And if we have dynamic resistance overhead, if price breaks through those little dots and then holds on a pullback and gives me one candle to the upside, oh buddy, no way I'm not going to, if I'm actively trading that market, there's no way I don't want to be a part of that, because it failed. Anytime something fails, now not everyone has that indicator, of course, but still, for us and our methodology, whatever the market does, there's always an opportunity, whether it does what you expect it to do or does something completely opposite. And if you start to look at it that way, okay, like I got to wait for this market to give me a buy signal, or I got to wait for the sell. Well, why don't you just see what's happening right now? Because if the markets are open and it's an active market and there's good liquidity, just go with the flow. So anyway, go ahead, John. I got off on a tangent there. Sorry about that.
No,
go ahead.
Okay. The other thing, remember we said about the grains that we're going to soar back to the highs? That's actually ongoing. We got up to 10.56 last night on the beans. I remember selling it up there. Bought them back this morning across the board. Just said go for the grains, and looks like that's happening. We also had a buy stop on the cocoa at lower levels, and that's starting to head for new highs after a pretty strong shakeout. We're actually long the coffee, but I'd put a stop at 120 on that. I'm not sure where this coffee is at. It's been gravitating higher.
What symbol do you use for coffee?
KC
and the Sunshine Band, right there, coffee.
Yeah, yeah, good band.
Casey and the Sunshine Band. Did they do Everybody Was Kung Fu Fighting?
Yeah, I think that's the one. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, now why? There we go. Okay. This thing's not opening. Oh. What have I done wrong here? I don't know. It doesn't want to take. Try one more time. Casey.
Put up the nugget there for a second.
Oh, okay.
Dwayne.
Put up the nugget. Okay.
NUGT.
NUGT. There we go. Now that's on 30-minute.
Yeah. See, I mean, look, it's kind of like a triangle, and that's.
Oh, from up here, guys, you could draw a trend line this way, and you could draw a trend line this way.
Yeah.
So it's coiling into the apex of that triangle, and as the story goes, when it breaks out, whether it's to the upside or the downside. And I wrote about this over the weekend. As futures traders, we don't give a whip if it breaks to the upside or to the downside, as long as we're on the right side of the street, because we're going to be flat into the day. So, I mean, or we're going to, we'll be flat into the day, not to say we won't open up a position as soon as the markets reopen at 6 p.m. Eastern. But this is not the stock market. This is not your dad's market. These are global markets. Except for Saturday, they trade every day. They open Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. And except for a few, little breaks, they got to, empty the ashtrays and sweep the floor once a day. But these things are trading. I mean, now with the cryptocurrencies, that's a whole other issue because they trade 24/7. They don't even sweep the floor. They just keep going. So
check out, put out Newmont as well if you want. NEM.
Okay, you want a 30-minute?
It's coming back with a vengeance from this low this morning.
Look at that.
What I think is interesting about this is it's made a double bottom here, against a few days ago, whenever, and that potentially, if we get above 39.50, this thing is really going to rocket out of here, because I think the daily chart on Newmont is very positive, potentially very positive. It's kind of been locked in a range for quite a while here now, and this, as long as getting over 39 now is probably a big deal for Newmont. 39.5 for sure. And this is what they like to do. They like to test these things before they run them. Just like they did with the gold
in 1974. Now, Gary, maybe he just wrote that, and somebody else played it. RJ had already said that was Carl. Who knows Carl Douglas? I never heard that name before. RJ also said KC and the Sunshine Band, they did make a little. Let's see. That's how I like. That's how I like it. I can't get the tune in my head. I can't get Kung Fu Fighting out. That's a bad one. Once you get that earworm in there, boy, you can have sleepless nights. Okay. Now, what else are they saying? It was a one-hit wonder, Carl Douglas. Isn't that amazing, how these one-hit wonders? People will do a song, and it's like sometimes one of the most incredible. Other people, so because I watch for it, it's probably why I see it. But anyway, well, thank you guys for getting us. Get down tonight. There you go. Did I get your name wrong? I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay. Kurt and Cindy are both here today. Hey guys, how are you? All right. Okay, so we've looked at. Let's take a look real quick here at this S&P. Last night on the trade alerts, we had said to consider buying 26.25. And for those of you that did not grab your screenshot, get it right now, please. 5, 4, 3.
That's a good 20 point trade. Not bad at all.
Yes, sir. Ran up $1,100 per contract available. Now on this first one, okay, if you didn't walk away, if you found your appropriate stop as I teach you, you might have got stopped out on this one. I'll just leave it at that. This one, it ran up 3 1/4 points, And the third trigger, important prices, important areas are almost always tested. The third trigger did run so far 23 points at $50 a point, $1,100. No, that's not right, is it? 20 points is 1,000, and so it's 1,150. That's what it is. Not that it's that important, but look at that little doji that it laid right up there at the top of that climb. 1,000. I'm just going to leave it alone. I don't have time to mess with it now. You see that doji right there, John? Now, guys,
Hold on.
A doji is not always, when you get a doji, it doesn't always
Oh,
mean
incidentally,
that you're going to get a reversal. Go ahead.
Yeah, on the market, you know, a bit of the giveaway, probably a lot of was, and we actually week was, you know, this 572 point down day. Well, see that's been taken out.
Yeah.
On the upside now.
Okay. ES. There we go. And then we want weekly. And there's weekly. Okay. And
yeah, you see that?
You want to scrunch it up, or you want me to put it on? I can put it on continuous. That'll probably show it better. At
the point being that look at the spike bottom that was put in there. Now, you know, I could one way of looking at this whole bottoming structure is that the February 9th week, the week of February 9th, was a hard bottom, right?
February, right there. Yeah, this week here is what he's talking about, guys.
Right. So this week was a hard bottom, and this is a soft bottom.
Okay, now tell us the difference. Hard bottom, soft bottom.
A hard bottom reverses in a spike. A soft bottom is usually a secondary bottom, and it tends to be more like the way this one's going.
Rolling sideways. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and potentially rolling back up here. You know, in fact, extending to the upside.
Violently sideways, as Mike Reed puts it. It was good to talk to him the other day. It's been a while. Yeah. He's a great. I have so much respect for that guy. He's you know, we don't have a lot of heroes in America, but he's one of mine.
That's interesting.
Okay, now just to show you guys real quick while we're on this weekly chart, I might have shown.
You know, all this stuff about the tariffs. I mean, you know, maybe people are starting to figure out that Trump. You know, sometimes the bark is worse than the bite, kind of thing.
Right.
And you know, these are only, you know, nothing's actually been done on the tariffs. It's all proposed, which a lot of people, you know, I think that's part of the reason why we're rallying here today.
On a weekly chart was the week of January 15th, 2016. For over 2 years. No, I take that back. No. Well, no, I don't take that back.
You know, what's interesting is they haven't really given up much ground. I mean, you know, it wasn't so long ago we were down at like close to par on the euro, you know, and
oh yeah.
We shot up. We had a target of $1.20, had a target of $1.40 plus on the pound, and we got up to these levels. We basically pulled back. I don't think, you know, really haven't gone back very much at all on any of these currencies, except possibly the Aussie and the Canadian. And now the dollar is starting to break down. And if we go any lower, you know, we break the 89 500 area on the Dow up 40. If we get one of those afternoon delight, you know, we get totally today, it would be you know.
I think he'll handle himself. It shows you, it really illuminates what life in Silicon Valley is like, with all of these startups and found parties like the Romans or something. I mean, these guys in Silicon Valley, they have these parties that last.
Are all, you know, outplaying all this sort of thing, you know. I mean, look, this was obviously, you know, just.
I ran a number of companies, own a few, and I always had salesmen. I was constantly hiring and training, managing salesmen, whether it was my company or not. Movie stars, they had this incredible talent that allowed them to come in and make $1,000 in a day. Voice of reason, And I would put them on an actual contract. And it said, if they escrow account, drawing interest, I'm holding for you. And for some of the Kampala. And for a while, they were able to...
Back in the 80s, it was much cheaper. But still, you bought Bitcoin when you started to buy, or you were thinking about buying Apple at $12. These university professors who come on the CNBC, and these, it has to do about it. It's very, it takes a lot of application, a major advance in the metals. And we could be witnessing the early stages of that 18 run in the metals. You'd probably want to be long. The palladium, I mean...
Dow, it's up 200 points. So there it is. Okay, you're muted now. All right. Okie doke. So we got a 200-point move. Now, these zones are from last week. The CFRN partners got this week's zones this morning in their email at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. On a typical week, we go ahead and share the zones with the rest of the CFRN community, typically on Thursday. Some days some weeks I'll break them out a little early if something, is going on. Or I don't know, sometimes it's just nice to do, okay? Obviously, I don't do it on Monday because that's something that is reserved for the partners. No one has access, at this point, no one has access to the weekly zones except for the partners or someone on a free trial. If you've come into the live training room, you spend the week's free trial, of course you'll have access to the zones there. But the carryover effect of the zones, right? Like I just gave you an opportunity to take a screenshot. Okay. On Friday, I gave you an opportunity to take a screenshot. So if you took that screenshot on Friday when Globex opened last night, even though you don't receive the Concierge Trade Alerts or the weekly trading zones, that information, when you snap that screenshot, on Friday or actually Thursday, I think, whatever day I gave them to you last week, if you snapped it, okay, could that have helped you last night on the open? Well, I don't know. You tell me. What do we expect? What's the most likely thing to happen when price hits a weekly trading zone? Consolidation. Only three things can happen: consolidation, rejection, or what I call a hot knife through butter, for lack of a better term. And so what did price do? It ran right up to last week's zone and consolidated. Because there's been really no market activity, so to speak, between Friday afternoon's close and Sunday evening's open. And so the carryover power of the zones, sometimes it goes Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, and I mean sometimes it's even evident at the end of the week, the previous week. Now, of course, the current week zones are going to nail it a little closer for you, but you get my picture. I'm trying to give you something here. Just be gracious and accept the gift. If you take that screenshot, you can put it to work the following day. Okay? All right, I'll leave it at that. So 200 points, we're still climbing. Where do we think we're going? So where does this market think it's going? Well, I think it wants to go to that old zone at 355/360 from last week. And partners, you know exactly where I think it's going. So let's move on to another market. Let's look at the Russell. These are last week's zones. I don't even have to tell you, do I? Okay, here's the 8 o'clock. Oh, right here. This candle opened at 6 p.m. Eastern last night. 6 p.m. Eastern. Okay, and we actually, because I had been about down south in a live, or the preaching/teaching part typically runs about 40 minutes, and I think that's what congregations want today, and I think people will, search or shop around until they find a church. Now, some people, want the old fashioned, from the larger sample size. I think most churches have gone to, number one, contemporary Christian music, praise and worship, which means piano. That's it. Now, in the Old Testament, and so I used to ask my grandmother about that. Son, we are Christian. I don't have time right now. I got to make dinner. All right, let's keep rolling. All right, last night's alert, the email that slept in your inbox. Consider buying 1535. 1535. Oh yeah, killing me here. What was this swing high? 13. 1535. Yep, 1535.5. So 1535. Now, some people will put in a stop. I'm sorry. So it went 4 ticks and then turned around. So let's pause here for a moment. This might help you. 1535. Why 1535? On a Concierge Trade Alert, we do not like to risk more than $300 per contract. Different people with different personalities and different size accounts, you know, their number might be 3,000, whereas I've set a number at 300. The number, you can make it whatever number you want, quite frankly. But I think a good guideline is the 300. The Russell trades at $50 per point, and there are 10 ticks to a point. I'm sorry, that's not true. No, yeah, it pays $10 a tick. Wait a minute. Oh, it pays $5 a tick. Is today Monday? Back in the day, goodness, the Russell, when it was the ER2, paid $100 a point. It was the crack cocaine of futures trading. Now it pays $50 a point. Okay. Now, here's what we got to figure out. If we're only willing to risk $300, and here's the thing, because the email contains 8 markets, 2 trade ideas per market, that's 16 ideas coming out of the box. And because important prices and important areas are almost always tested, you could potentially see 20, 30, 40 actual triggers in a day. Like on the S&P there, we saw 3. 1, 20, 30, 40. Depends on where your stop is. The stop should be. If you want to type it in, I would be happy to. Well, fair enough. Now we talk those. That's fine. Add some plate. You're never going to hit the. All right. I hope so. Room do we have to work with? 29 plus 6 is 35. Okay. But not everybody was here that day. So I'm going to chart. That's what we were just looking at a minute. Better change the symbol too. There we go. Oh, 35. Did it help us? Email versions. I need to see that, Gary, because actually Michael's doing a webinar tomorrow afternoon. That sounds like something I created a long time ago, and somehow it's gotten attached to something, and it's still floating around out there as if it's current. So if you can direct me to that, Gary, when you have a chance. Oh, great, you'll forward. Okay, thank you. Yeah, you can just send it to support@cfrn.net. Yeah, it's just something that I created and then I forgot to delete it, and it's probably been floating around out there forever. But yeah, thanks. Now, what I can do though, Gary, is I can send you a video of that webinar that was being talked about in that email. All right, we record everything, so I'll be happy to send that to you and you can take a look at it. Now, 1529, correct? Where's 1529? See, the most... Well... We'll leave it at 29. I mean, where's the next bracket? It means that's 5 points. Yeah? So that would be 1530. All right. If you put your stop at 1530, that's going to be right on top of that swing low. So that's not going to work. Okay, can't do that. Not because of any of this, because we don't know this has happened yet. Okay. When this happens, that's all we can see right there. All right. So we know that we got to be below. All right, so we're going to go, we might as well go with the 29. And we got it. We'll use it, okay? Now, so the takeaway is Price. I've been listening to him. Garrison Keillor, I read the book Tales from Lake Woebegone. Every Saturday for so many years, I would sit and listen to him, or we'd be in the car driving. And my kids, my son loved Garrison Keillor and all the corny humor. And I grew up watching Hee Haw, you know, so my son's never seen that, but he loved Garrison Keillor. All right. If you would put your stop at 1530, you would be violating. So I don't want that to be your, if you, let's say you're still in the trade. Dear friend Mark Douglas, he wrote the greatest book. Oh, what is that thing called? Somebody will type it in the box, because I know a lot of guys don't mind. This one indicator, you have to pay extra money if it's not part of your data feed. Oh yeah, the NYSE tick. It's, I don't want to go into any explanations, but that's part of something that he uses, but proprietary indicators or anything. He, you know, but we'll say they read the tape. His handle in some chat room, Yahoo or something, is tape reader, right? Right. And his book is Read the Greed, Take the Money. Clever play on words, right? Plus, he's got the best website name in the world for a trader, Trade Stalker. Because that's what we spend most of our time doing, stalking trades, not trading. I mean, the amount of time that we're actually in a trade, if we're trading intraday, the way we teach you in the morning in the live training room, if we're trading intraday, the amount of time we actually spend in a trade compared to the time we spend waiting for a trade to set up, it's miles apart, right? Trade stalker, yep. And that's the mindset you should have. See, when I first got started and I saw all the money that could be made with futures and the incredible power of leverage with the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, man, hoo-hoo! I had to have 2 hooks in the water at all times. And be patient, wait. Are you nuts? There's money to be made. Or lost, right? So it took a while, but I learned to be patient, and I learned to wait and allow the trade to set up, and all of these kinds of things, okay? Now, Mike is unusual, and well, not unusual, but if he doesn't get instant gratification, he'll just scratch out of the trade. If he doesn't immediately start doing what he thought it was going to do, he tries to minimize. The audio book goes for 20. You assume the risk, you leave it there. You trade all 3 of them. Okay. Now trading is not easy, but it can. Just know, pine, right? You know, seems like you start your own. Learn how to do. Right? Okay. Now I know it's like working on a car because I can't do that. Or plumbing. I can show you how to do that. I can tell. We can make a list of all the things you need to know. But it'll come naturally, and it's pretty, you know, she can be almost conversational in Spanish. Myself, boys back at the office. That was it. God, I remember we were down in the basement in downtown Phoenix, and everybody hooked. It was like we were going off to war or something. I mean, it's a 4-hour drive. We can get to the ocean in 4 hours. But we're gonna be in trouble and never get this show done. So let me just get back on point, all right? I'll teach you what you need to know. But you got to know instructions that I gave you and worked with you on. Clear view of what's going on. The same, all right? 1-minute chart with the exact amount of risk that we didn't bite our nails. And look what's took. It's going to be, because How do you know if today's someday? Sundays, no someday. And I've assumed the risk, and it's part of my plan. How many moving parts there are, how many PE mini contracts, you got no control. You control where you enter, how much you risk, and where you take your exit. These are the things that you have control over. Don't worry your pretty little head over stuff you have no control over, right? Focus on what you can control and control it to the best of your ability. And be consistent in your behavior. Consistency, consistency, consistency is to trading what location, location, location is to real estate. And I've got a new t-shirt now. Okay. Self get t-shirts. All right. Now, you said, whatever your rule is, I mean, if your rule says no, I assume the risk, like Mark Douglas says, and I'm riding this baby out. You probably feel a little sick to your stomach right now, but you know, it's only one trade. You have a hard stop. If you get stopped out, you're down $300 per contract traded. If that rattles your windows, trading might not be okay. A perfect entry that would still have us in the trade. It hasn't created a profitable trade for us as of yet. Okay, but it may. Now see that the guy's sick to his stomach. He's grinning a little bit now, huh? I used to live and die by every tick. It's red, it's green, it's red, it's green. I knew it would be green. Oh my God, it's red again. You know, don't do that to yourself. It will mess you up. You have no control. You can't control it. You can't pray it away. I'm laughing because I'm laughing at myself because I was the original nervous Nelly. I'm telling you, in my cubicle on my hands and knees, praying in the Spirit, like Paul did on the day of Pentecost. Good Lord. And it never moved the needle a millimeter in my direction. Well, ultimately, that's what I'm saying. Of course, back and forth, but and you know my story too about why God can't. But He is. I gotta put my glasses on. Is that true? Are you going to call me? No, I'm not, Gary. I will not call you. I promise. Now that email, that could be Michael's webinar. See, every Tuesday. Now tomorrow I don't know because he's at the doctor having tests. But every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern, or 1:15, I think it is Eastern. Yeah, I don't know about this 4 o'clock business, Gary. Yeah, you need to forward that to me. So let me take a look at it. Oh, it's a mentoring session with me. Oh, yeah. Here, what'll happen, Gary, is tomorrow, half hour or so before the mentoring session, unless I stumble around and do it sooner, but more than likely about 30 minutes or so before the mentoring session starts at 4, you'll get an email. Subject says CFRN mentoring session, and then it just has a link. All right, and you click the link, and it'll take you to a room similar to the ones we use for the live training room each morning. But this one is a little more intimate. It's a smaller room. It holds fewer people, but the only ones who'll be there are you and I. That's why it's called a personal mentoring session. And instead of typing back and forth, we actually talk to each other like grown-ups. The reason we don't have everyone's mic open in the training room or in the workshops is because when you get that many people, on a open connection, somebody's dog barking, it's probably mine. Somebody's kids screaming, probably mine. Somebody's wife calling them to dinner, probably mine. So there's all this cacophony and noise going on, and you can't control it. And you try to remind people, and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, is that me?" So you have to just put everybody on mute. We can open your mic if you want to speak, You just have to type in, I'd like to speak. Okay. But you and I, in the mentoring session tomorrow, as always with my mentoring clients, Gary, it'll just be us, and we'll be talking. Now, you can use the phone or you can use your computer. Obviously, well, I don't know if you have a headset. If you don't have a headset, I would recommend that you run to Walmart or Kmart or some mart and get one. Don't spend money. If you don't spend money on a fancy one, this goes to everybody. The $20 heads, for the purpose that we use them for, so that you can hear and talk on a little microphone to somebody on the other side of the world. Some of the worst headsets I ever bought were the expensive ones, because they're for gamers and they get all this bass and $20. Walmart, Kmart, brand name, doesn't matter. It's just some simple electronic stuff, and it's just going to work. All right. When you're logging in, it's going to ask you, do you want to use telephone audio or computer audio? If you got the headset, computer audio. And then you and I will start talking. You'll be able to see my charts. I'll answer any questions that you have. And if at some point you want me to look at your chart, we can make you the presenter, and I can make sure you have your indicators set up properly and that you're, seeing the trade set up the way that you should. All right. So tomorrow, 4 o'clock, me and you, we'll have a great time. Okay. So we've talked an awful lot about this Russell, which is now, after the near-death experience and a little bit of nausea, it actually has put in a high up at 1536.30. So $130. All right. We're not going to get too excited right now, but we found a reasonable stop loss. We were teased. We were threatened. And now we're cautiously optimistic. Yeah? Well, shoot. How far you reckon that could go? Well, shoot. Let's find out. That, a grandfather status to the most recent swing low. Most people have heard about Fibonacci retracements. Okay, this is using the same math. Okay, using the same Fibonacci type math. Yeah, I'm serious. You can go on the internet and search it out. Look at that thing go. All right. So, a reasonable expectation of a target based upon a guy from the 14th century? 15th century? I don't know. Long time ago. Extension. All the guidance. The trade. It's bad math, bad science to take that trade. Now, we've talked a lot lately about the risk-reward thing. Okay? In fact, I had somebody in a mentoring session the other day, and if you're listening, I hope I wasn't harsh in my explanation. It's a hard science. Only take trades that give you a 3-to-1 risk-reward ratio. That means it's got to have to rethink that trade to make 2. You just throw a dart, pick a number. At the time, yes, you're going to get those 2 points. I have a friend who actually teaches a method like that, and he shouldn't. And I've told him that, but it's his business, not mine. Dwayne, mind your own business. Oh, okay. All right. So, what would that mean here? If we risk 6 points on our stop, does that mean we have to get up to 1541? That's exactly what it means. We don't have to. We don't have to do anything, but in order for you to have a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio, you risked 6 points. You need to pick up 6 points. Now, well, what if it goes to 40, and then comes all the way back and stops me out? Well, that's a bummer, because you should have had, at that point, you should have been trailing your stop, and you should have been like 2 ticks behind that thing. Well, I thought you said we had to get 1-to-1. That's what you want. And when you look at the chart, it has to at least show the opportunity, okay? Does this show the opportunity? Yeah, it does. 100% puts us up at 44.5. We need to see 41. So we got to take out the 62, but we don't have to go the 100 if we're looking for 41. With me? Okay. So am I now saying you should have never taken this trade to start with? Nope. I'm not saying that. I'm just explaining to you all the variables, everything. Everything that you need, right? To do this. Not to do something else. To do this. Okay. Alright. So, last night's email said to consider buying 1535 if you got the opportunity. And the swing high so far has been 37.50. And so the market made 2.5 points available. Whether you took it or not, it's up to you. I don't know. Were you trailing a stop? Did it come back and take you out? Okay. Next. Next? What do you mean next? Well, we just dipped back below the trigger. Important prices, important areas are almost always tested. Once, twice. Now it's getting below for the second time. Right? I will say one final thing on the Russell, and then we got to move on. And this isn't about the Russell, it's just about this particular type of trading. The trades with the minimum, the trades with the least amount of risk often provide the most profit potential. Why? I don't know. I just see it play out day after day after day, and so now I just say trades with the least amount of resistance often provide the largest degree of profit potential, and leave it at that. And I don't need to know why. I don't need to know why how an internal combustion engine works in order to drive to the store and get some milk. I have to, 1, know how to drive, 2, have a driver's license, and 3, not be lactose intolerant. But as to the spark plugs and the whatnots, I don't know. Don't need to know. And honestly, I know this will insult some car guys, but I don't want to know. There's other stuff I'd much rather know. We have a limited time here on Earth, and if you live to be 99 years old, and I'm sure we'd all like to, if you live to be 99 years old, how long will you sleep during those 99 years? Think about it for a second. It's going to pop right in your mind. Bang. 33 years. If you live to be 99, you will have spent, give or take, 33 years asleep. 8 hours out of a 24-hour day. When it's not that I didn't already know that and understand that. I was just driving the other day, and when the guy on the radio said it, it was as if I had never heard it before. You know, I almost slammed on my brakes. I'm gonna sleep for 33 years? Well, not all at once, but you get in the picture. Yeah. Huh. So that's why the hours that we are awake, we want to make the most of it. Right? Alright. 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 Let me go look at these emails you're sending me there, Garrett, because let me just look. Well, let me take a look. Oh, and you know what, guys? Because Michael wasn't here, and that's normally when I you know, while he's doing the recap, I run and get oh my goodness. Oh boy. Yeah, hang on. I made a mistake here. I just got an email from someone that the OTAD password... No. I gotta fix this real quick. It'll just take a second. I created the passwords last night from my lazy boy on my phone. And then when I came back to the office, my first task was going to be to log in and reset the passwords on the One Trade a Day website. I'm sure sorry I dropped the ball on that. If this affected you, I'll give you a free day or something. I don't know. I try so hard to get everything right. I'm sure you do too. We all make mistakes. Alright, let me get my phone here. Yes, Michael, it was just brought to my attention and I'm explaining it to the audience now. And it will be working in 30 seconds. I used my voice to send a text message. Okay. Alright. This will take a moment. Just a moment. Okay. We're going to start. No, it won't take long. Now, get ready to take your own break. Because as I was saying, I normally go to the Keurig machine and get a cup of Java while Michael is doing the recap. And since Michael wasn't here, well, it threw me off a little bit. All right. S&P 500. Just get it done, Dwayne. And the Russell. Okay, and the last one. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Publish. Publish. Okay, it is finished. Done. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I can see now that there's been other messages that I did not see. It's done. If you were locked out of the One Trade a Days, the passwords that Michael sent you this morning are now functioning. And it may be that you missed the trade. But guess what? Important prices and important areas are almost always tested. So even if you missed it, there's a high probability you'll get another whack at it. And if you remind me, somehow I'll give you an extra day. We'll do something. I don't know, we'll throw a party on your birthday. But it's fixed. So The other day I was telling God, hey, you know, God, I got an awful lot on my plate, you know. When I got back to the office, there was a package. I opened it, big box, new set of dishes. Big plates. All right. Okay, see what's happening over here on this Russell? Is he still on the Russell? Yeah. All right. Did it do the 50% price extension? Yep. How's that guy go? Yep. You know what I'm talking about, storage wars. Are we going to get a triple bottom on the 5-minute chart? Now, this is a question that I get a lot, and it's I like everyone. I think we all at some point on our journey up Trader Mountain, we wonder. Okay, came knocking on the door here, couldn't get in. So backed up, got a really good running start. Bang, bang, bang. I like Sheldon knocking. See? They wouldn't let him in. So he says, okay, this time I'm going to back way up. Way up. All right, and now he's running, he's running, he's running. He's got a full head of steam. Will he be able to bust through this time? I don't know. Have I seen it bounce off the same spot 10 times? More. Is that normal? I don't know. Define normal. Now I could go deep here with what both buyers and sellers are thinking as we approach this area, but I've already drug out a lot. So maybe you get together with me on a mentoring session or in the partners workshop, and we can go over more detail. But okay. The question ultimately is, the more times a defined area of support or resistance is hit, does it weaken the wall or does it make it stronger? You know, they say anything that doesn't kill you only makes you stronger, right? So these repeated attacks, is it breaking it down? Is the foundation starting to crumble? Or is he just getting a really mean look on his face? There are people who will argue eloquently both sides of that argument. Now, I quit arguing a long time ago with myself. Sometimes it will break through and sometimes it won't. I mean, I can't add anything to that. You know what I mean? That's the color blue is blue. Yes, there's shades of blue, I know. But price is always moving between areas of support and resistance. Okay? You got sellers here, and you got buyers here. Buyers are, see, just moments ago, price was the way up here. Now there has to be enough buyers out there in the market actively right now who see this not as a bad thing, but as an opportunity to get a better price. You see, when it cleared the trigger here, they might have loaded the boat. They were happy to pay $15.35. And now they can buy the same thing for $15.31. I mean, if you went to Walmart and bought a certain brand of TV that cost $500, and then you drove by Kmart and saw they had it for $350, how would you feel? That's a better price. You can't take back the contracts you already have, okay? Well, I don't need 2 TVs. Well, of course you do. Everybody does. In what they know about the market to say, I didn't know it was my birthday. I was able to get a bunch at $15.35, which I think is a great price. And now they're going to let me get some more at $15.32 for a foam cup. a coffee cup. Be right back. But if somebody wants to sing, I'd be more than happy. No? Okay. All right. The DJ is on break. He'll be right back. Okay. Any questions that you think of? Anything that we've spoke about? You're on the trial, you're not sure about something, get those questions typed in, because when I come back, we're going to have to hit it pretty hard and get lickety split up out of here. Because we're already over our time, but we haven't completed all the markets. So I've been trying to, the last few days, I've been trying to do more. Years ago, they used to run 3 and 4 hours. Because, you know, workshops are great, I love those, but when I have an opportunity, but the markets usually are pretty quiet about that time, 9 p.m. Eastern on Thursday night. When the markets are really moving, that's when I like to be able to talk to you and show you and explain and answer your question in real time, because if I answer your question in real time, quite often that will lead to another question. And you really feel illuminated, you know, man, boy, that light bulb almost, when it went off, it almost blinded me. I can see all the way to Bakersfield. All right. Okay. I'm going to hit mute. Oh, I'm going to make myself a note. No, I really am. You think I'm kidding? Hit the button. See, all these years I've had a software button that I click to mute my mic, but with this, the way I've got it arranged, I now need to do the software and the hardware click. Yeah, I know. You don't need to know all that, right? So I'm putting a thing up on one of my smaller monitors that says hit the buttons. When I come back, I won't talk to you for 20 minutes until I finally look down and see in the chat box that somebody has said, "We can't hear you," 50 times. Isn't this something? All right. I would be amiss not to mention this, I suppose. Do you see what happened here? Okay. Now remember, this is a 5-minute chart. In short order, some intraday buyers got a nice little profit. So as price came, and other people missed it. So as price came back down into this area, the guys who got it said, "Ooh, I'm going to take some of that money I just made." This. Boss has already called them on the carpet. If this were a weekly trading zone, that would be called rejection. Important prices, important areas. So we had a trigger, which led to a near-death experience. We triggered again, and the market offered up 2.5 points. See, the day this doesn't surprise you right here, the day what just happened doesn't surprise you, that's an awesome day for you. It really is. Because this is what the market does. This isn't a Dwayne thing. This isn't a CFRN thing or a Michael thing. It's a market thing. Okay? Alright. I'll see you in one Keurig. Don't go away. Lots more to come. Now I'll hit the button. you think when I'm Elizabeth, now Elizabeth, you're partner now, correct? And forgive me, we have a ton of people and I'm old, so. Okay, so did you get the email this morning that had the weekly trading zones in it? Okay, that may be where. Okay, so let me take note of this just real quick, and I will. It's Elizabeth. I think you just weren't put on the distribution list yet. But how it'll work is every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, you'll get an email. I'll show you exactly what it looks like here in just a second. List. Okay. All right, so I'll fix that. It won't happen again. And after I show you what it looks like, I'm going to forward it to you so you have it. But then next Monday it'll just come automatic. Okay. Now, one more step. Do I have a mentoring session with any of you guys that are here right now? Later today? If you do, type something in the chat box, please. Okay, trade alerts, where are you? I got them. I have an email here that I can just forward right over to you. Alright, let me show you what it looks like first. Okay. CFRN Concierge Trade Alerts. So, oh wait, that's the wrong email. That's not the email you need. Okay. Back it up, boss. 2 seconds. 2 seconds, and I'll have you running on all cylinders. Get out of there. Okay. So the email I actually need to find. It's not that one. How many got the heads up email this morning? Somebody, anybody? I sent some emails over the week. You guys should have got an email from me over the weekend talking about CT Global. But I think you have to be very careful how you word things because of the spam filters. If you say the wrong word, like free, if you put free in there, well, you go right to the spam. Oh, why can't I find this? It should have came in this morning. All right, must be on the other one. Stand by, still checking. That was the trade alerts last night. It should have come in this morning. How does that go? If it was a snake, it would have bit me. Why do people say stuff like that? I don't know. Okay. CFRN, Partner Weekly Update. This is what you'll get every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Any current news, updates, whatever. CT Global Media, token updates, Monday through Friday, 12 to 2. Listen and watch live daily. CTG goes live later this week. If you have unfinished business with the CTG Treasury, make sure you reach me today. I wrote that last night, so today, please. Okay, and then live trading room access. Well, you don't know the link. Nah, I better get that. Anyway, whatever. It's got your password. Tells you the partner workshops Thursday night. You'll get your invitation Thursday afternoon. And then it's got all the weekly trading zones and stuff. Okay? Okay. So now I just need to forward that email to you, and you'll be good for this week. And then next week, because I'm going to add you to the distribution list, you will just get it automatically, which is pretty awesome. Right? Right. Okay. Now I'm going to hit send. You ever wonder about the guy that invented email? He didn't make a lot of money for that. What about the guy that invented the MP3 algorithm? He did not get rich from that. He just, like, gave it to the world. Well, at least that's how the story goes that I read. Or maybe you read a different story. But when like, Uber's worth, I don't know, $60 billion, and they don't even own a car. But the MP3, which is probably one of the most used pieces of software in existence in the world, yeah, I got nothing. You got nothing, honey. All right. Oh, okay. These are the emails that were being forwarded to me. All right. Okay. I'm trying to do so many things at one time, and I got an exciting afternoon. Gary, yes. Class number 1, learn about bullish and bearish divergence. If any of you have ever gotten this email, then, okay, right? That's because, Gary, you signed up you're on the free trial this week in the live training room. Do make sure you download the indicators or install the indicators, because at the end of the trial, you'll go, oh my gosh, I wish I had taken advantage of the whole thing so I'd really know whether or not it's right for me. So if you haven't done that, please do. And if you want to talk to the main man, my main man, Bert Schlichter, Burton, call toll free 866-928-3310, 866-928-3310. Bert will probably answer. Make sure you have Bert on the line and say, Dwayne on the radio today told me that I'm on the trial, and that if I call you, you'll help me get my chart and indicators all set up, so I'll be ready to trade in SEM on Globex tonight, and I'll be ready for the training room tomorrow. And he'll spend as much time with you as you need. He's a great guy, great sense of humor. Some people are just good human beings, Bert's one of them. And he's an ex-Marine, and he's promised that if there's ever like some kind of major conflict in America, that I'm riding shotgun on his foxhole. True story. I really did ask him. So what this email is that you got and that other people have gotten who took the trial, it's called a sales funnel. That's how we get you. Every Tuesday, Michael holds a special webinar for everyone on the trial. This is where he shows you all the tools in the CFRN toolbox and how they can be used to rack up the points. We keep it simple in the room. These videos will really open your eyes to the potential you have in front of you. Okay? And if you click that, I do believe it'll take you to our website, where there are a couple years worth of videos of previous Tuesday webinars. Yes, as we suspected. It takes a long time for the page to load because there's so much video content on the page. I need to go in and split it up for them. Okay, so alright, so that takes care of that. Personal mentoring set. I should talk about this for a second. See, you should be on day 2 or 3 of your trial. If you've not yet downloaded the platform and indicators, do it. It's free trial, lasts 5 days. We want you to be able to make a well-informed decision, and in order to do so, you need to actually experience the power of our proprietary indicators. Personal mentoring session. If you become a CFRN partner, you will have access to unlimited personal Emini mentoring as you remain an active partner. Celebrities, CEOs, politicians, and some of the highest paid traders in the industry all have one thing in common: a personal mentor, or in some circles, a life coach, right? During your that should say 5. During your 5-day trial, you get 1, 2. In other words, you get a one-on-one personal mentoring session where you get to tell me who you are and your history and what you've been through. And then you can ask me any questions you want about us and what we do and how long we've done it and stuff, you know, whatever you want. And we'll look at charts together. Okay. Go to Emini it's cfrn.net/talk to, oh gosh, we talked on the phone, was it Friday or Saturday? And we were trying to get that transfer made to your Ledger wallet. I'm so sorry that I'm old and can't remember your name right now. It's on the tip of my tongue. It'll come in just a second. But I just want to know if you're here today. No, it wasn't you, Kurt. I'm just going to hit send to all. You know what? That's not the best link, really. It would work. Okay. Okay. Okay, you hadn't got it. Okay. Time to, you know, put the zones on your chart if that's what you want to do, if that's how you want to roll. I see it on the calendar, and any questions, call us. 949. Pretty amazing. When I went to last time I went to Africa and Amsterdam, the server never went down. And when I went to Peru and Ecuador, the only time I've been, the server never went down. It streamed flawlessly 24/7 while I was gone, which is pretty sweet. Okay, so this trade over here, the one we've been talking about now for over an hour. Oh, the DJ's back. Okay. All right. We triggered near-death experience. And now look where price came back. See, before we triggered, you see this wick here? There's meaning in that. I can't go into it right now, but we can talk about biting your nails and whatnot. It's going to come down exactly what we'd expect it to do. We at least try. What is that, 40 or something? So it actually made $150 of profit. Well, no, because it's not up there. But it traveled a value of $150 per contract right there. Okay, 3 points. You follow me? So when price hits a weekly trading zone or 38 or 50% Fibonacci retracement, we expect the buyers or the sellers, whoever it is, to defend their territory. And so, you see, they tried. Buyers stepped in and they tried to push it back up because they had fun here and they made money here and they won't do it again. But this time there's more selling pressure, right? And they got slapped down, put in their place, so to speak. Now, look at the wick here and the wick here. How do they do that? I'm seriously asking yourself, how do they do that? How do they make it come right down to the tick? Look at the horizontal line on my cursor, the red horizontal line. There. And I know some people go, man, that guy gets excited about the weirdest stuff. Well, I mean, this is what I do for a living. I mean, we're talking, you know, food on the table, butter on the toast kind of thing. Sugar and iced tea. Ice in the iced tea. Okay, the swing low of that candle was exactly 1526.90. You can tell I went and got the good glasses too, right? Swing low, 1526.90. Swing low, 1526.90. Now, with literally tens of thousands of traders in the market actively trading right now, how did everyone orchestrate that they would let price come down exactly to the tick at 1526.90 and turn it back up? Do they use like a messenger client? Is it an email thing? Do you get a fax? Or you look up in the sky and see a light? Oh, okay. No, now you know I'm just joking, and I'm not very funny. I realize that, even when I try really hard. Sometimes I read jokes out of a joke book and people still don't laugh, but that's okay. My point is this. You can't orchestrate that kind of a thing. It's not possible. I mean, there's hedge funds out there, and there's retail traders, and there's everything in between, whatever that might be. There is no way this could be orchestrated, yet it happens all the time. Made a statement, and I don't think it resonated. Okay, don't go too far off on this, but I picture myself sitting down in front of my Zen garden, my little meditation garden. Yes, you can be a Christian and meditate too. You don't got to chant or om or rub the Buddha's belly, all right? And I have a lotus flower in my little meditation garden, in my mind. And each day I watch that flower, that lotus, open. It opens every day at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Well, actually for me, 6 p.m. Eastern. Each day it opens and unfolds. But every single day it does it a little bit different. So I get excited every day, I know this sounds weird, just to see how it's going to do it today. It doesn't matter to me which way it does it. I like to watch it. And then, as I'm watching it, the opportunity, long or short, it materializes. It presents itself. It says, here I am. Oh. Because see, I wasn't focused on finding a trade. The student is ready, the teacher will appear. Okay. When the trader is ready, we're going live this week. Yes, we are. What day? Not going to tell you. I sent an email out last night. At the end, I'll probably read it to everybody. We're going live this week. No, not tomorrow. I will issue I'm going to put out a press release. Here's how it's going to work. One day this week, I'm going to come on the radio and I'm going to say, all right, guys, we're going live tomorrow morning. I'm going to give you a time. Okay? You with me? Then I'm going to put out a press release that night, which will hit the wires early the following morning. This will go out to 50 international wires. How are investors going to react? Because we did more investors just cautiously watch to see what happens, or will savvy crypto investors who've already made a boatload of money and have some to spend, will they storm the gates because they recognize that we only have 1 million tokens for the entire global Christian community, and there's 2.4 billion of them? Somebody in accounting is going to get whacked. No, somebody in accounting is going to get a raise. That would be me. No, to my knowledge, no one in the crypto space has done this yet. It's all about how many billion can we print. I am not a fan of diluting value. Okay? Now, Berkshire Hathaway. Warren Buffett has not split his stock since he took over in the 60s, 70s. Not once. Everybody splits your stock. Google splits. Microsoft splits. Everybody splits. It's just what you do. Your stock gets so expensive, people can't afford it, so you split it. It doesn't devalue the stock. It lowers the price of the stock because you now have more shares. See, that's how that works. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly legal. Companies do it all the time. But Warren said, you know, I'm going to be a different guy. I'm not going to split. I'm just going to see how the price will go. Last time I looked, a share of Berkshire Hathaway ran you about $300,000. But each person we have built into CTG what everybody else is doing. We got that Bitcoin has shown and fractional ownership. That's how, with only 1 million tokens. That's why he's in such a good mood, because we're going live this week. And you know, I'm going to read you the thing in a minute. I think you're part of the community. You're listening to the show, even if you don't own tokens, and if you're not a partner, it's okay. I think you should hear this. All right. So I'm going to stop for now. I'm going to stop. Kurt, you typed in your name. Was there a reason? Did I ask? I feel like I missed something. Hey Charles, how you doing? Hey Gary, I got the, oh, you know, I think I only looked at one of the emails you sent me. Let me see what the other one was all about. Oh, confirmed private mentoring session. Okay. So I got those 2 emails. Now it looks like you've sent me another. Oh, okay. Yeah, I look forward to it as well. Very nice of you. Now, Kurt, what are you trying to say? This is NinjaTrader installation and chart setup. I see. Kurt W., why did you... Hello and welcome to the CFRN trial. The link below is a video that will walk you through setting up your charts properly in the actual trade setup that will be used during your trial with CFRN. Please take the time to watch this video so you'll be ready to absorb what is going on in the live training room. Most people are overwhelmed on day 1 of the trial because there are so many opportunities, and we try to point them all out. Use this link to see several videos on using DT Pro straight from the Daniels Trading website. You can also use Apex Trader, Zaner 360, OEC Trader, Global Zen Trader, which are all like DT Pro in every aspect except the introducing broker and the name and BERT. If you have not, oh, and by the way, if you trade with Daniels and BERT, Michael and I we don't get like a commission or a finder's fee or any of that. Not that that's wrong, but we just wanted to not muddy the water. We wanted to be able to say, once we found out how awesome Bert and Leslie, his partner who retired, when we found out how awesome they were, we didn't want to mess that up. And so, yeah, we just, when we tell you, I guess now we got to say he's the best in the business. He's the best in the business. He really is. I've had a number of brokers. Most of them, Bert is, and he's only one person. He can only do so much in a day. Sorry, Bert, but I wish we could clone you. If you are, okay, most brokers, I'm gonna say it. If there's any brokers in here and I hurt your feelings, I'm sorry, but you know it's true. Most brokers realize that that the lifespan of a futures client is less than a year. Actually, less than 6 months. So they're not going to put a whole lot of time and energy in you because they know in 6 months you're not going to be around. And so whatever money you're willing to spend, throw away, whatever, however you want to look at it, you know, over the next 6 months to a year, they'll take it because they're going to get it either way. See, if they pour time and energy into you, they're going to get it. And if they just ignore you, they're going to get it. Because when you're broke, and then you're going to leave, and that's the end of your trading career. But Bert and Leslie, when she was there, they don't look like it. They don't look at it that way at all. They look at it the way Michael and I look at this thing, and what we do as mentors. We want to do life with you guys. This isn't just about selling you some indicators and wishing you good luck. We want to do life together. I mean, we're going to do eternity together. Why shouldn't we do life together, right? All right. Bert doesn't see you as somebody that's going to be gone in 6 months to a year. He sees you as an opportunity to add to his portfolio of successful traders. Because behind every truly successful trader is a pretty healthy broker. See, Bert, by using that approach, Bert not only helps people become traders, he creates a lifetime income for himself. Because as long as he does you right, why would you ever go somewhere else? Although sometimes people get short-sighted. They step over dollars to pick up pennies. Now, I can trade it over here for $2. Right. But if you get stuck in a trade, customer service is done via email or Zendesk. Right. So Bert answers the phone. He says hello. Now, I was walking my dog shortly after I met Bert. Maybe a couple months. I was walking my dog, and my phone rang, and it was Bert. It's like he should already be on the train going home. I answered it, and he goes, "Hey, Mr. D, did you know you left an order open?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "I know that's not you." And I was getting ready to leave the office, and I looked up at the screen, and I saw you had an order. I'm like, "Oh, man. All right, how bad is it?" He goes, "No, it's not bad. You're up $400. I'm like, he goes, "What do you want me to do?" I go, "Close it." I go, "I should not be in that position. And I'm not going to, I'm not giving back the 400, number one. And number two, I'm not going to drive a nail in my coffin by convincing myself that the universe just spoke to me, by making me absent-minded and I forgot that trade. When you realize you're in a trade for the wrong reason, or at the wrong price, or in the wrong direction, but yet somehow it's actually going in your favor, you know what you need to do? Get out. But I said it's going in my favor. Yeah, get out. Fast. Because if you start to believe that kind of noise, you'll never round the corner. It takes you down the home stretch. Okay? The universe don't speak to you and tell you, and make you absent-minded so you go short when you were supposed to go. No. If you make a mistake, own the mistake, fix the mistake. If by chance you make $1 doing the right thing, okay, fine. You earned it because you did the right thing. Those ill-gotten gains, man, they're no good. No good. So back to this email. I don't know where this came from. If you have not downloaded the DT Pro charting platform, use this link. Ninja users, watch this video. Thanks, and look forward to seeing you in the training room, Michael. Maybe he actually wrote that. It's possible. So, Kurt, you sent me this to help me. I think you were just trying to help me out when I was trying to figure out where these emails were coming from. Okay. Well, I appreciate that, Kurt W. All right. Oh, somebody's listening to the radio. I just told you that I was going to, that later this week I'd be sending out the press release. So you guys are going to get notified on this day, and then the following morning the press release will go out notifying everybody who has an interest. What will happen when the press release hits, I don't know. Will investors be cautious? Will they dive in? I don't know, and I don't know. I do know that based on what I've been told, we will open higher. Just like that one company the other day that did the IPO. They, which one was it? Dropbox. Was it Dropbox? I don't know. It went off at a really high price. And it seemed like the price was out of, oh no, it wasn't Dropbox. Whatever it was. They were supposed to IPO at X, and everybody who bought before they hit the open markets got in at some whatever price special. Just like you guys with the pre-sale, you got your bonuses and whatnot. And what you pay for that bonus is you get restricted tokens. But that's not my point at the moment. My point is this. I can't let... You know it's coming. You know the press release is coming the day before the press release comes. legally, morally, you know, that's about as far as I can go with it. But that's important. All right, just make a note. Dwayne said that's important. You with me? Okay. All right. Now, an email just came in from one of the big press release firms. So to the good folks at EIN, I'm excited to know that you guys listen to the show. Elizabeth says, Dwayne, you ask if anyone for sharing that. CFRN was a spinoff. CFRN was a spinoff ranging from the introduction of new products to services and training, even special radio guests and co-hosts. Our exchange approval came through the pipeline quite a number of weeks ago, and I assure you it was difficult to keep quiet. However, a number of other issues needed to come together inside of a specific time frame, and so it is with great pleasure that I announce CT Global, CTG, the official cryptocurrency of the global Christian community, will open for trading this week. You know, unless there's some act of God or however those things read. I will notify you the day before we go live. The world will be notified the day we go live via a press release which will hit 50 major news wires courtesy of the good folks at EIN. I can't wait to call them and talk to them. It will be posted also at emini.cfrn.net and at our brand new Discord forum. Now there's a link, and you may not know what Discord is, but it's like, well, you'll see. We're going to spend a lot of time there because that's going to become our support portal, both for the crypto and for the Emini Futures trading. I'm going to put a link in the chat box. Okay. And you can just put it wherever. You don't have to go there right now. But it's very nice. And it's nice. Just when you have time, go there. Just check it out. I mean, don't keep like, what is it he wants me to see? I just started building it out over the weekend, so there's not a lot to see. But I think you'll see the possibilities. And I'm looking for moderators and, you know, anybody that just wants to like pitch in. It's a community sort of a thing. All right. Okay. Back to the email. I'm sure many early crypto explorers sold their BTC, Bitcoin, the moment they were able to turn $1 into $2. Now, even well off the highs back around Christmas of $20,000 per Bitcoin, or even at today's price, $6,000 per Bitcoin. Just imagine if every coin that people turned, every opportunity that people used to turn $1 into $2 instead of $1 into $20,000 or even $6,000. Opportunities of this magnitude are rare throughout history. I am not suggesting that it will take 5 years for us to match Bitcoin, nor am I saying that CTG will ever match Bitcoin. It's not about that. I just know that if it ever does, I don't want to be the $2 guy. All pre-sale coins carry a 6-month trading restriction from the date your certificate was printed. Pre-sale coins will be closely monitored. We are a community, and all rules are in place for the benefit of the community, which means you, because you are a part of the community. The custom tokens that wither on the vine tend to be owned by short-sighted investors or somebody running some kind of a scheme. The ones that have increased 1,000-fold and more tend to have a well-educated and mature community of serious investors behind them. Of all the investors and all the token exchanges in all the world, I believe we are better positioned to see the big picture than any other token community that I'm aware of. The CTG token is built on the Ethereum blockchain. CTG is not a security. It does not represent fractional ownership in any company, entity, or organization. It serves as both utility and storehouse. In other words, you can buy it for the function, or you can buy it just to put it away and see what happens. If you have unfinished business with the token treasury, please be in touch today. Again, we will notify our tribe, that's you, the day before the press release goes out. This project has consumed much of my life for the past 9 months. And the job is far from over. In fact, it will never be over. Somebody will just take over for me at some point, I guess. However, the view is about to change. You know, there's an old saying, unless you're the lead dog, the view never changes. You know, think of a dog sled. Unless you're the lead dog, the view never changes. Yeah, well, the view here is about to change. I'm not saying we'll be the lead dog, but we're going to have a different view. The day we open, will cautious investors take a wait-and-see approach, or will aggressive investors who have already created substantial wealth from cryptocurrency storm the gates of CT Global? I don't know. The second group that I mentioned will notice pretty quickly, though, something unusual and unique about us. Our total supply, now and forever, is only 1 million tokens. That's like pocket change for some of these guys. But remember, we're crazy like a fox, yeah? Now, with 1 million tokens, you put that on one side of the scale, and on the other side of the scale, there are 2.4 billion Christians worldwide. 150 million here in America alone. Warren Buffett never diluted Berkshire, and today one share will run you $300,000. Now that's a billionaire boys club, and not everyone is invited to play. Most of us, probably don't live in a house that's worth $300,000, much less buy one share of stock for $300,000, right? I'm off script a little bit with that, but I think it's true. We believe strongly in the non-dilutive growth structure, and we are infatuated with the fractional ownership model as exhibited by Bitcoin, which allows everyone to participate at whatever level you're comfortable with. If you got $10, you're in. If you got 10 million, you're in. See? Not so with Berkshire Hathaway. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. We truly have the best of both worlds. Even though there are only 1 million tokens, we could still someday have 100 million token owners. If there is a single financial takeaway from this decade, we only got 2 more years left in this decade. I believe this is it. It's so simple. It's elegant. No dilution. Fractional ownership. Welcome to CT Global. Now, nobody taught us this. As I said, the past 9 months have been an educational adventure and an emotional roller coaster ride I would not have missed for the world. It's also not one I want to repeat. Back in 2005, when CFRN began live broadcasting and daily podcasting, there were also no manuals on how to do that. 98% of the American population didn't even know what a podcast was. And yet, here we are 13 years later, still doing what God told us to do. Grind it out. It's incredible how the will of God can overcome any obstacle. Even me. Sometimes I'm the obstacle. People told my wife and I that we couldn't build an orphanage in Uganda. We didn't have it. The education, the money, the pedigree. We didn't know what the heck we were doing. That we would better serve humanity to just send a couple dollars to the United Way or something, or feed the children or whatever. But that's not what God told us to do. We did what God told us to do. Huh. You reckon that matters? I think it does. People told us we couldn't do it. We didn't ask them. They just took it upon themselves to tell us. 18 years later, God's love is still alive and flourishing on the African plain. With God, all things really are possible. But it's critical that we don't trip over our own vain imaginations. What do I mean by that? Well, sometimes we have clever ideas, and then we forge God's signature on it. Hey, honey, look what God wants us to do now. My wife can spot those a mile away. And she goes, that ain't God, that's you. God don't want no ski boat. I have this really incredible idea, and then I get God on little tiny seats on British Air. We flew 20 hours for the first time in our life. Now, when you land in Kampala, Uganda, East Africa, there's only one plane every other day. You land just after dawn at Entebbe Airport. Now, we have larger gas stations here in Phoenix than the Entebbe Airport. And as you walk into the airport, remember it's dawn, the sun's just coming up over the horizon. You walk into this tiny airport, it's hot, it's sticky, and all you see is camouflage and long guns. Not a smile in the house. Now, you probably remember the movie. You were about 10 years old, if you're my age. There's a made-for-TV movie, Raid on Entebbe. If you haven't seen it, I bet Netflix has it. You should check it out. Now, even though it was a made-for-TV movie, it still managed to put a scar on my psyche that exists to this day. When it dawned on me that where I was standing that morning, when it dawned on me that I was standing where Raid on Entebbe was not only filmed, I was standing where it happened, where blood was shed. Oh boy. The only word that could adequately describe what I felt was eerie, or maybe library. It was an airport, but you could hear a pin drop. Most airports, they're pretty loud, right? People talking on the speaker and all, you know, this guy's got the boom box going, and these two over here, and this guy's wrestling his baggage. No, dead silence. Pin drop. I'm standing there, and it's all camouflage, long guns, and silence. Was it at that moment I realized we had done the right thing? These past 3 years, remember, we started in 2000, but now it's 2003. We had been pouring a never-ending stream of dollars into the dark continent. If you don't think that I slept restlessly on the plane because I knew that it was possible I could get off that plane and find there was no orphanage. Hang on. It has happened to so many people. So many Americans, so many people from Britain for a long time. People pour money into a work because they, you know, and then the day comes when they go to see, you know, what God has done through them, and there's nothing there. Now, my best friend at the time, Larry, who was the CEO of Santa Fe before he passed away, we're coming down this road, they call it a road, and I reached over and I grabbed his hand. We're not like that. We were just comfortable with our masculinity. I grabbed his hand and I said, Larry, I sure pray there's an orphanage up here. He started laughing, and then he started crying, and he goes, me too, Dwayne. Larry was the single largest financial supporter. Well, my wife and that's a different story, but he was the single largest. We went through some times that had it not been for Larry Olson, no, there'd still be a new hope, because even without Larry, there's still a God, right? Okay. And it was because of New Hope that I've even met Larry. Oh, did he come to one of your charity dinners? No, I went to a shareholders meeting at Santa Fe at the Biltmore, And as I was walking out the door, he shook my hand, and I said, "Hey, I hope you come through with those promises, because I got a whole lot of orphans counting on you." He goes, "What?" He pulled me aside. I'm in blue jeans and tennis shoes. There's all these suit and ties behind me in line waiting to shake his hand. He pulls me aside for like 10 minutes, and he keeps pumping me for information. And then finally he says, "Give me your address." And so I did, and the next day he showed up at my office, and we became friends. And anyway, I've told the story before. Get back to this email. We're never going to get off this show. So we've been pouring all this money into Africa. We hadn't physically been there. Yes, we got pictures almost every day via email, but there could be 10 orphanages using the same facility for the purpose of photographs. You know what I'm saying? Stuff happens. You've got the Nigerian letters. Come on. You know? So it took about an hour, but my heart's pumping. So many of you are beginning to feature. Double. Is it going to hold? Then we'll have radio trade. Okay, I'm not saying you can't take the trade. Consider being short. 15.18. Tray your stop and there's a third step. Swing low. Interesting man in the world. I don't think so, but that guy's on a commercial. But I admit, if I didn't know myself, I have done some interesting stuff. One of the most important moments in my life, I think. Oh no, insurance agent. When I was 37 years old, I talked about the other day, my wife and I, our change of life, 37. Now, I had a pretty full 37 years up to that point, did a lot of stuff in a lot of countries. Some countries that I'm not allowed to return to, but anyway. About 6 months into the journey that began when I was 37, 1996. Yeah. About 6 months in, I went to the bathroom, as I often do, right before going to bed, as I often do. I think I was brushing my teeth or something. And for the first time in my life, I looked in the mirror and smiled. Not that I've never smiled at myself. Who hasn't been drunk, right? But I looked in the mirror and smiled. And I actually said this out loud to myself. You're the kind of person I want to hang out with. I know that sounds vain and stupid or whatever, however it sounds to you. And that's okay, I don't care. What other people think of me, none of my business. The realization, the coming of life, was like my bar mitzvah or something. I don't know. I had never liked myself. I had, they call people blind. I want to hang out with you. The 21st, hating myself for all kinds of reasons. 2001 offline. And a lot of it was a problem. Not only was I not his best friend, I wasn't even his friend, based on the things he said. I'm sorry. Moving on. Offline is then we close. I don't think anyone who participates. I have hit the open market. I honestly believe that. If you've never listened to the video that device, but on a desktop, if you've never listened to that video, it's going to be unhappy. And I think there is the potential that, now if you want to die a billionaire, you're probably going to need, I could be that guy with anything.